Hello friends, Adam here with FED. Today we're going to be looking at what a lot of people say is one of the hardest chapters in Fire Emblem Engage, that being Chapter 11. So if you don't want to be spoiled on said chapter, now's the time to leave. There are some big story implications and big gameplay implications with this chapter. I really think you should go in blind, but if you're struggling with it, that's what this video is for. So if you want some help, stick around. I'll give you some tips as to how to beat this map without losing any units and how to actually have fun with it, because it should be a really cool it's stressful, but it should be like a cool fun map. So this is your last spoiler warning. I'm about to show the chapter in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so this is a stream. This is my stream from a couple days ago that we're going to be looking at here for examples. And yeah, this map's pretty brutal. You have all your rings taken away from you, all your emblem rings I should say. So you don't have any of your incredibly powerful engage techniques, but on top of that, the enemy gets to use those powerful engage techniques like multiple times. It's not just like one enemy gets to use them, like you kill them and it's gone. As soon as you kill an enemy who has a ring on, the main boss girl has the opportunity to put it on another enemy unit. So it becomes quite the struggle. So a couple of things to note. I think this is a really great time to promote a Lear. As you can see on screen, I'm debating whether or not to do it, but honestly, there's like next to no downside. And this is on Maddening, by the way. But if you're struggling and you haven't promoted a Lear, I would say go for it. Its promotion gains are really nice. 2 strength is great, and then of course some like +1, like everything else, is also very nice. So definitely helps with his survivability, and he'll just be better overall. Definitely worth doing. And if you have another Master Seal laying around that you haven't used, but you should if you haven't used it, I would definitely suggest promoting another unit to help out here. For my sake, I actually promoted Chloe to a Griffin Knight the chapter before, which was a huge help. Having her as buff as she is here. And to note, I did give her a couple stat boosters. I believe I gave her like a strength booster, and like a defense booster, but otherwise that's a natural unit there. Another thing to note, you lose all your emblem rings, but you don't lose your bond rings. Bond rings still give really good stat boost and should be used. So if you haven't made any bond rings up to this point, well, you might want to go back and make some. That'll help out a lot. Or you could just keep going. Another thing to note, though, that you will have, if you have the DLC, which you should just get the DLC. I think it's really fun. I think it's going to be worth it overall. Just get it. Anyways, if you have the money to, of course. Anyways, the DLC rings that you have access to at this point don't get taken by the bad guy. I guess they're not rings. I should call them the bracelets, the DLC bracelets. They're still emblems. But anyways, those do not get taken away from you. So the 3 Houses emblem and the Tiki emblem do not get taken from you, and you can still use them in this battle. For the sake of this playthrough, I didn't, because I kind of wanted like the authentic experience of not having any emblems at this point. So I didn't do it. And so just also kind of proved that you can, like, fairly easily, right? So the big issue here is obviously you're not going to be able to kill Vale. The whole goal is just to escape with a Lear. If you stick around and fight for a long time, the chances of you dying are much, much higher. So you want to just head south like almost immediately, while playing safely, of course. The big thing as far as like just map play goes is there's tons of terrain for you to take advantage of. All these forests, terrain is really powerful in this game. So make sure you're using terrain, especially with units like Unako or other coverts who get double bonuses. But that's just like normal gameplay stuff that you should be doing anyways. But here's the big kicker here. Here's the big kicker. This is the thing that people get in trouble with real bad. We'll see it here in just a second after moving these units. There is an incredibly annoying status staff on this map used by someone using Micaiah, so it has AoE. And that is the freeze staff. Now, if you set this up correctly, which I just happened to do on accident, but looking at it, this seems fairly consistent. You can set it up so the first freeze won't be AoE, and you can choose who it targets fairly reliably. So I put Unaka over in this forest to draw Marth, and that worked out well. But what I didn't expect was for her to get targeted by a status staff being freeze. It makes it so you can't move. the next turn, which is, you know, kind of a big deal. But if you see how these enemies moved, this is why I say it's consistent. If you look at, watch how these enemies move here, or how the Cavaliers move first. That one moved first, and then this one moved. It makes it so this emblem wielding person who has Micaiah in the middle here cannot go to this space. Normally they'd be able to, because 1, 2, 3, 4 into that space, and that would increase the range of their magicking, their magic staffery. Otherwise, they're forced to not go down here, which is where the majority of your units are, and they're forced to go somewhere else, right? So if we look here, again, this was on accident in my first attempt, but it's something that seems fairly consistent, something you can do. She had targeted Yunaka, and Yunaka, honestly, her res is pretty good. And I think that's how it's determined, your hit rate or whatever. But so it misses. Even if it did hit here, though, it would have been fine. And because it's AoE, having her alone was kind of the big play. So you want to make sure that whoever's going to get targeted by the free staff, or if you have someone who's going to get targeted, maybe you could have just moved it down here and moved Yunaka down by the rest of your army. But it turns out, again, I did this on accident, but it's, again, fairly consistent. This line that I created with Alchrist, Diamant, and Lapis, that's just outside of the range that staff user has with freeze. So keep that in mind. And also, if you can just make it so you only get hit by 1 or less, you know, it'd be good. But I did want to drop the Marth emblem just for the ease of it here. Also get a poison on him. So it just kind of worked out that way for me. Someone said it was luck, and yeah, it was luck. But ultimately, fairly consistent strat that I just happened to do on accident. Now, if she would have hit, this is the other big thing. This is how you do it, okay? Because later on I do get hit by the AoE. I think it's around here. Yeah, it's right around here. We do get hit by the AoE here, which is it's rough, you know. You'll get to see like how devastating it could potentially be to your playthrough here, especially since you don't have the rewind mechanic at this point, which is the other big thing. I think that's another reason people think this map is really hard. Without that promotion, you wouldn't have killed there, which is kind of cool. Glad we did that. But here she comes in a second, apparently. Wow. Now here Micaiah comes. The Micaiah emblem. She's going to use freeze here, and it hits both Yunaka and Jade there. Which, if I had lined up any worse, it could have potentially hit even more units, right? It could have potentially hit like Alchrist and Diamant if I would have played even worse than I did here. And now you're thinking, oh, well, they're in trouble. They're going to be in range of Sigurd, the Sigurd emblem guy. They're going to be in range of Micaiah again. They're probably going to get killed, honestly, right? It's some bad stuff. But there's something that this game doesn't necessarily shove in your face, but that you have the opportunity to buy at this point. And this is the big thing. This is the big thing. You want to have the Restore Staff. You want to have the Restore Staff at this point. The Restore Staff becomes available to buy in the store the chapter before this. So you can buy, or it might even be the chapter before that, but I know for sure you can buy it in the chapter before this one. You can buy a Restore Staff, which can cure status ailments. And it has a range of 1 to 5, I believe. Or it might be 1 to 8. Either way, that means as long as you have 2 staff users or multiple staff users, you can take care of this problem pretty easily. Look at that. No longer locked down. So those are my big things. Just to go over it again really quick, make sure you equip bond rings, make sure you promote a unit or 2 if you're struggling, and make sure you have a Restore Staff. The Restore Staff is powerful for getting rid of those status ailments and getting out of those bad situations. I would also suggest having at least 2 staff users, maybe 3. But that's going to do it for this video. That's how I beat Chapter 11. Maybe it was a little bit of luck, but if you kind of do what I did here, you'll probably be okay. Take advantage of the terrain with your covert units and your other high avoid units, and make sure you have the Restore Staff. It's kind of the big thing. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like the channel, like the video. Also, let me know in the comments what kind of guides you want. I have some more in the works. And yeah, thanks for watching.